Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 154 of Discourse in Magic with Alfredo Marchese. Now, this episode was incredible because we spoke about something that is really close to my heart, which is bringing card magic up to the stage. It's something that I've always found challenging, and I know that when I try to do it, I always run into problems. Like, do audiences think that all card tricks are the same, or do I have to do it with jumbo cards, or how do I make it play big? And in this episode, we talk about all of that, some of those beliefs that might not be true, as well as solutions to some of those problems. And Alan has incredible solutions. And not only are we drawing on Alan's knowledge, but he worked for many, many years alongside and performed alongside Juan Tamariz. So you get to hear a lot of Tamariz's ideas. You get to hear a lot of Alan's ideas about building a show and creating strong effects. This was a really powerful episode, and I think you're going to like it. Here it is, episode 154 with Alfredo Marchese. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Discourse in Magic. My name is Jonah, and we are here with a very special guest. I'm super excited. We are here with the one and only Alfredo Marchese. Alan, how are you?
Fine, thanks. And you?
I'm doing very well. Let's get started at the very beginning. How did you get started in magic?
Oh, it was a long time ago, in 1972, in Buenos Aires, Argentina. I knew a magician, a great magician from here, my first teacher. His name is Raleigh. I began to go to his shop. He had a little magic shop and help him with the magic. I was 12 years old.
Wow. Okay. So at 12, you went and you started working in a magic shop. What made you, like, was there something that hooked you in magic?
No. I saw a friend of mine in my school doing a trick, the Professor Nightmare. Great routine. And when I saw that routine, I thought, oh, I have to do this. And then this friend was the person that introduced me to my teacher, Raleigh.
And then you worked with the teacher and you worked in the magic store?
Yeah, I don't really work as a magic dealer, but I help him making tricks. I help him in staying with him in the job and showing some tricks to the people. Not too much because I was 12 years old, but I was in that shop every single day after my school.
Talk to me about how magic developed then at a young age as a career. Did you go to some sort of university for something, or did you just start doing magic, or what happened?
No, I studied in university. I have two careers. I'm merchant marine officer, and I am also professor of physical education. But I quit all this when I began to do magic as a professional. But at the beginning, I never thought I'm going to be a professional performer. It was like a hobby in Argentina.
What happened that changed your mind?
Oh, the life. No, when I began, it was very difficult to be a professional. Only few professionals in my country, in Argentina, that travel around the world doing a 10-minute show only in cabarets, nightclubs, and all that stuff. And in Argentina, you can perform mostly for kids. And there was a lot of kids shows every year. I made about 300 or 400 every year. Show for kids, only for kids. And it was good, but it's a half-time work because I studied and I tried to develop as a professional merchant marine officer. But then something changed. I went to a international convention in Madrid in 1985, the FISM that was in Madrid. And then I met a girl and I fell in love and I came to live in Spain.
At what age?
27. And then I tried to find my way, what to do in a new country. I tried to find a job. I did a lot of things. But finally, I went to a magic convention in Spain and I won a prix in Magic for Kids. And then in the gala show, because the gala show was at night, I didn't do my kid show. I did a parrot show. And when I finished that, I had my first contracts.
Oh, wow.
And then I realized, oh, I can do this for living full time, not half time, but full time. And it begins to grow up as a good job. Everybody called me as a professional. Oh, Alan is a great professional. And I, before that, I was half-time professional, but I don't know why, because I try to do good tricks. That's the secret. For me, the most important is in magic is the effect. And then I try to select my stuff looking for the effect. Oh, this is great. And then because that, I think they love my magic.
So you moved to Spain at 27. And how long did you stay there? Were there people there that really influenced your magic?
I was there in Barcelona. In Barcelona, there was few magicians, but for me, the great influence in magic was Juan Tamariz. I knew him in Argentina in 1974 when I was 14, and we became very good friends. Then, when I went to Spain to live, he asked me to move to Madrid, but I was in Barcelona because my wife was from there. And then I had to travel almost every week to Madrid to help him, to work with him, to discuss with him about magic. For me, the biggest influence in my magic life is him, Juan Tamariz. He's my brother.
So let's imagine, somebody like somebody listening to this right now is a 14-year-old kid, who hears that at 14 years old, you start meeting and hanging out with Juan. And then as you get older, you start, working with him and going to see him every weekend in Madrid and working together. What did that change for you? Like, how did that affect your magic? What was there something that happened? Maybe something that he said or the ways that he interacted with you that changed your magic very quickly, something we can take from it?
Oh, I think his thinkings about magic, his theories are great. Out of discussion, because when you analyze all his kind of thinking, you realize it's this is true, this is real true. I can change any word. We discuss about methods. Sometimes we show me some trick and I can add some idea about methods, but about magic theory, magic thinking, I think it's incredible because he put together all the greatest thinkers in magic, like Robert Houdin, Professor Vernon, Arturo Dascagno, all together, because he never say, "Oh, my theory is different." No, my theory is based on these great magicians that had great thinkings about theory in magic. And if you build a building with good base, you have a very strong building. And this is the secret. He began to build his theories from the base of Slidini, Vernon, Robert Houdin, Ascanio.
Wow. I'm trying to put in perspective what it was like when you were 14, 15, 16. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship that you had with Juan and maybe what it was that you guys were doing day to day in terms of working together or working on your magic?
The thing is, I don't know if you met Juan, he go to bed early in the morning. No, he used to go to bed 9 in the morning and wake up 6 in the afternoon every single day. Then we came to Argentina because he became in love with Buenos Aires. He begins to came to Argentina every single year. And then he tried to talk with the magicians, but most of the magicians went to bed early. And then there was only two of us that stayed with him all night. One was my teacher, Raleigh, Daniel Caselli Raleigh, and the other was me. We stayed with Juan until 6 in the morning in a bar talking about magic.
That sounds amazing.
Yes, and we discussed a lot of things. If Juan shows some new idea, asking what I think about it, I try to give him my point of view. Most of the time, I can't say any word because the trick is perfect. But a lot of times, I have some point to say him, no? And we trust in my criteria. I think I'm not a great creator. It's very difficult for me to create a new idea, a new effect. But when you show me some effect, I have a lot of ideas, a lot of methods, a lot of solutions, a lot of changes. For Juan, this is very important because I give him another point of view.
You know, it's very interesting what you just said about that you feel like you don't create some of those things very well, but you have so many ideas once you see them. And I know that that's how a lot of people feel. I know that's the way I feel. And oftentimes, what that means, or at least for me, is it means that I'm often struggling to either create an effect or even select material for myself to create an effect. So how do you pick material? How do you start picking the type of magic that you want to do?
Yeah, no, all books, all books. Most of them was from books. If you want to find good magic, you have to read all books. There are a lot of great material, so great, better than the new one, because now the people think, the magicians thinks that everybody have to create a new trick, and this is very difficult. It's like if I play piano and I have to create, but maybe I'm a great pianist, but I'm not a creator. If you remember Fred Capps, he was a great, great performer. Never create a single trick, but he was great. I would like to be Fred Capps.
Right.
It's a mistake. And now every young magician have a new idea, a better way to do the Vernon classics. And when I hear this, I say, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Don't tell that. You show me. Okay, I made another version, but not a better version than Vernon. It's impossible." And Juan Tamariz sometimes tell me, "Okay, I changed Vernon's trick." And then when I began to do this, I realized the Vernon way was the best. Okay, it's one, but young magician telling, "No, no, I create a new idea." And when you see this kind of tricks, are interesting, but nothing else. Only a twist of the same ideas. Then it's very difficult to create. I know few magicians like Juan, Gaetan Bloom, Paul Harris, Kevin James, few magicians that can create really new ideas. But the other, like me, we are performers.
So should we be putting a twist on, like, is that a good thing to put a twist on
Yes, no, that's okay. That's okay. You can put a twist. You take a trick. I in my routines, I took all tricks like the Coulter car fountain, that kind of effect, and I put my twist on that. But a twist, I never can say this is better. I do two tricks from Dr. Elliot. One is the car in the egg, and the other is I don't remember the name. Yeah, I found this trick in Dr. Elliot Last Legacy book. Only I changed this little bit to make them possible to do on stage. But no, the principle, the method, the main method is Dr. Elliot's. And then I try to change a little bit, not thinking that my method is best. My method is okay to do now in these conditions of lights and stage, but all tricks from all magicians, and then I put some twists, some details. I think that matter because I tried to do my lecture for a long time. I never was happy with that until Juan told me, "Okay, do the lecture. It's great." Because I tried to put together, yes, the theory and the magic and the facts and all that kind of thinkings and then I think it's okay. It's a good
I
lecture.
agree.
It had a good material, and the most important, the facts. I don't speak very good English, and then when I went to the castle the very first time, it was long, long time ago, when Ron Wilson was in charge. And my first show, I thought, I don't mind my English, my accent, nothing, the grammatic or whatever. I have to think in the effects. and I want to think in keeping my rhythm in my magic. And when I finish, a friend of mine, Rafael Benatar, you know him, he's a great magician. He came to me and said, "You don't worry about your English. Your magic is great because you select very strong and clever effects." And I understand this is the way to do the things.
Okay, so what's the secret there? So what's the secret when we're picking magic to pick something that, like, what is the secret to a great effect?
Oh, it's a good question. For the magicians, sometimes it's a fact that involves a lot of
Hmm.
sleight of hands. For me, I try to think as a layman. It's very difficult because most of the time when I see a fact, I realize the method immediately. I can't change that. But anyway, I try to think like a layman, what the layman can think about this. And then when I realize, or when I think the layman can say, "No way," for me, this is the effect I want to do. Sometimes this effect doesn't fit in my style of magic, and then I have to leave it. But most of the time, I try to move this effect into my kind of magic. But it's very difficult because it's a kind of criteria that everybody have to have. But it's not easy. Not every magician have a good criteria. It doesn't mean I have it, but it's a kind of thinking, no? Sometimes I discuss with good friends, with great magicians, but when they select the tricks are not so good. And they need help from another magicians to select the tricks.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting that you say that because we often think that selecting tricks is something that you should do on your own, and then your friends should help you make your tricks good. But it's very interesting how important, the selecting of the effects are, that maybe, we should all seek to get some assistance from our friends in which tricks to put in, and not only how to do them as well.
Yeah, because we came in love with some tricks. It's normal because, oh great, I want to do this, and sometimes we don't think about what the effect really is. I always remember the Carlyle principle. You know the Carlyle principle. When Vernon was at the castle with the friends, they thought, here came a lot of magicians from all over the world, and then which one we are going to go, which one to see, because there was a lot of magicians. And then Carlyle said, okay, let's go to the exit door and ask the audience. If the people explain the effect in three simple words, great, we have to see this. And if the people began to explain with the strange ways to do, but not clear, no, it's good. I think the same is for magic. If you can explain the effect with simple words, I think it's a good trick for me. The people said, okay, four aces travel from the table into the pocket. Great. Simple, strong, and the people remember the effect. Because if the people doesn't remember, it's possible that they enjoy with the sleight of hands, enjoy with the person, with the pattern, but the effect, the magic lose. And for me, because I put some point of humor in my presentations, for me, the important is the magic.
Yeah, magic first.
Yeah, for me, but it's a choice because maybe I remember Williamson said that he liked the people laugh, and then sometimes he forget about magic because he wants that, because he wants the people laugh, not because he doesn't like the magic. It's a choice.
And, so far, some of the things that you've said about selecting an effect is that you have to think first about your decisions, right? What it is that you want in magic, what style effect you want, and then you can start making decisions. So if you choose that you want, clarity, right? Like you were just saying about having the Carlisle principle, being able to explain it in a few short words. If clarity is very important to you, then that's what you look for in your effect, and so on and so on. Is that right?
Yes, yes.
Do you find yourself searching for like a very specific effect to fill a very specific place in a show, or do you sort of let your heart fall in love with whatever whatever you fall in love with and let it come as it does?
It's a kind of combination because you fall in love with the trick, you think about the effect is good, okay, this trick is for me, and then I decide which part of the routine I'm going to put it because I have divided this in different blocks. This is the beginnings, the ends, the middle, the some kind of different kind of magic like shadowgraphy or whatever in some points, and then I have different kind of effects that can fit in the same block, and then I change the blocks. Okay, I change the beginnings, or I change the ends, or I change the middle.
You basically maybe classify them as
Yeah,
like an opening trick or a beginning trick or middle or whatever,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
you those are interchangeable.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about bringing card magic to the stage. And there's a few things specifically in that I want to talk about that you do very well. So first of all, the two big issues with bringing card magic to the stage are number one, the big worry that nobody is going to be able to see what's going on. So the trick itself has to play very big, and it has to play bigger than a little deck of 52 cards. And the second thing that's a really big challenge in bringing card magic to the stage is we know that when we take a deck of cards out and we spread the cards, maybe in close up, somebody will say to us, I've seen that trick before. And we know that audience members often feel that card magic is very similar. So I think when we're doing multiple card effects, the challenge is to try to make those seem and be very different effects from each other. So can you talk about how you address both of those challenges? So making it play big and then making card effects very different from each other.
The first thing is there is a great mistake in thinking that you can perform card magic with a simple deck of cards on a big stage. I remember when I was performing, recording TV shows in Colombia, in Bogota, and then at the end of the recording, we were a big shows around the city in a big theaters, and then I was the MC, and I began to do a trick, a card trick, and I thought in that times, okay, I'm going to do this trick with a jumbo card. But then I realized that the jumbo card looks like a special kind of cards. In the other hand, if you use a regular deck of cards, for the people, it's a regular deck of cards. This is the first point. The second point was that the place was a very sports center, very big sports center for 3,000 people. And it doesn't matter if you take a regular deck of cards or a jumbo card, the people at the end of this big room didn't see the cards. And then it doesn't matter if it's a big deck or a small deck. And then I began to do the trick with a regular deck of cards, and the reaction was great. Why? There are a lot of things to think about. The first one, the first 20 rows of seats can see the cards. If you bring some people on stage, these people see the cards. And the other people react because these people react when see the cards. At the end, nobody remember that they didn't see the cards. I have a story about this with Juan Tamariz in Argentina. The second time that Juan came to Argentina, he made one stage show. In that time, Juan had only few stage tricks. I'm talking about 1975. And then when he finished, the organization asked him to do another show. And he said, I have no more stage tricks. And his wife, at that times, I remember, told him, Juan, you have the glasses trick. I don't remember the name of the trick. You know the trick in which you blow to the glasses and something appear in the crystals.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
You know this
Yep.
trick.
Yep.
You have the glasses, and in one crystal there are waves, and in the other a card is a wrong one, and in the other they were idiots, and in the other the right car. You know, this is the regular trick. It's great. It's a comedy. And Juan told his wife, "It's impossible. Nobody is going to see the crystals because it's a big theater." And the wife told him, "You remember when you bought this trick?" "Yes, it was in Vienna, in Austria, in a big convention." "You remember? You remember we were sitting in the last row of the theater?" "Yes, of course." "You didn't see the glasses?" "No, but when the trick finished, you ran to buy the trick." "Oh, yes, it's true, because he felt the effect in the same way that the people on stage that can see perfect the glasses." And this is the same. You have to have this in mind. Do this kind of tricks. You need people on stage to help you with the reaction. The people react because see the other people's face and think, no way, the people believe in this. You can use a stooge, but it's not fair. But normally it works. I tried this and it works perfect. I use a regular deck of cards, big stage, and it works perfect. Nobody see me at the end. Great, what a pity. I didn't see the cards. Nobody. This is one. The second one is to help you with the screen and a camera. This is the Juan method. But this is only to do close-up magic on the table. But here there is a very important point. Normally, when I see people performing with screens, for me, this is a great mistake because they put a big screen on the back of the stage and everybody is looking to the screen and not looking to the magician. And sometimes it happens in film conventions that when you look to the screens, the image from the screen is smaller than the real one, because I don't know why they put this in this way. And then I'm going to explain you the development of this kind of magic. The first one that used the screen for do close-up magic was Mexican magician Fernando Keops. He's playing cheating in card magic, gambling, and all that kind of stuff, second deals. And then he don't need to communicate with the audience. He puts a big screen on the back of the stage and he performed the tricks on the table and the people look to the screen. He explained this to Juan Tamariz. And Juan said, "Oh, this is great. I would like to do this." And he began to do this with a big screen, and this never worked. The people began to talk, nobody pay attention, and then Juan thought, no, this is not good. And I helped him with this. We spent months thinking about how to change this, to put a big camera with the people doing the zoom in, zoom out. No, it doesn't work. A single camera with a single shot on the table and with big screen, different kind. And then finally, we find the way. The way is to put a little screen just beside the table, close enough in the way the people can see together the magician at the table and the screen. And then he put a black mat on the table and a black close-up mat. What happened? The camera is pointing only to the close-up mat. When nothing happened on the table, the screen is black. This is the most important. And the people look to the magician. And then you don't lose communication. This is the first one. The second one, when something happens, you put the cards on the table and on the screen, you can see a very big cards because you only are pointing to the close-up mat. And what happened here? If you look to this kind of setup, the people don't need to move the head to see the screen. The screen and the table are in the same position for the audience. They can see both together at the same time, the screen and the performer. And it works like the subtitles in the movies. You don't remember if you read the subtitles because the subtitles are inside your vision and you put all together. And with this, Juan can finish his 2 hours stage show with 45 minutes of close-up on stage. The story finished when Juan explained this method to Fernando Keops, the first one. He began to use this method to put a little screen beside him, and it works better. And also, David Copperfield listened about this and called Juan to help him to explain him the method. And Juan went to a city to meet Copperfield and explain him every detail. But for him, wasn't work because he want another different kind of stage act. Because in the little part that Copperfield performed a close up on stage, he preferred the people relax and look to the screen. But the Juan method is great. If you try this, you're gonna find that it works perfect.
Wow. That's amazing. That's very exciting. It's not only a great solution to actually try, but I also think that it shows a lot about his dedication, to keep sitting down and saying, like, what is the solution, and trying to figure out the right way to not lose connection with the audience.
Now, you have to think that Juan now is performing in theaters as big as 1,200 people. And with this method, this is the end of the show. And after 2 hours of show, always there is a silence, an emotion, and always a standing ovation. Then it works. Other way, it's impossible.
Yeah, the other way you lose them. You don't get their eyes on you, and they get distracted. Even when you started explaining them getting distracted, I feel it in my heart. What that's like. Talk to me a little bit about making card effects different enough from each other on the stage so that they don't feel the same.
Okay. This is for Juan it's easy because he have a lot of different effects he create. But for the other magician like me, most of the time I try to make the card only is a part of the trick. Not all the trick is about card. I involve another object, like for example, no. If I make the card in egg trick, it's a card, but the most important is something travel inside a regular egg. The effect is that it can be a banknote, a card, a ring, whatever. The effect is this. I use a card, but it doesn't matter if it's a card or another object. The important part of the effect is that something travel magically inside an egg. This is one. Another is, for example, a newspaper in which a card is formed with holes, no? For example. And then the trick is not only a card, it's a checked newspaper with one person's signature on it becomes a card, for example. Another is the rising card. The rising card is the best sample of this, because for the people, one strange thing happened. It's a card, but something rises in the air, and in my case, at the end, all the cards fly away from an empty crystal glass. Then it's not pick a card and your card is a tree of diamond. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
Yeah, of course. They're very, not only are they different effects, but they also use things that aren't cards with them.
And then you can make a regular card trick in the middle. It doesn't matter if you make 3 tricks with cards. If one is carrying the egg, the other is a prediction, and the other is a rising card,
Right. So you just try to build in enough variety.
It's the same if you make big illusions. You always use a partener, a helper, a lady. But one, you put the lady in a box and the lady disappears. And the other, you put the lady on a table and the lady levitate, And then you put the lady in another box and you put swords through the box. It's the same, always with the lady, but the effects are different.
It's floating, disappearing, and I understand.
Exactly. And this is the kind of thinking we have to take in mind when we think to put together a magic show.
Those are the two big questions about card magic on stage, which is, and the answers seem to be variety, so making sure that they appear different and that they are different, and maybe that they use other props. And then I really love the answer talking about bringing card tricks to the stage, and you were saying both about that you can do it with a camera and the right way to do it, as well as just doing it with the cards, and that what people are reacting to are other people's emotions. And I think that that's true, and we know that's true because that's what we talk about with things like mentalism all the time, right? It's like, you wrote a number, here it is on this little piece of
Yeah,
paper, but we're responding to their emotions, right? We're not
yeah.
responding, no one can see the little piece of paper. It's so crazy that we don't think about that in magic, but I love that we're thinking about that now.
No, yeah, and in Messerly it's worse than
Right.
this, because now, mostly now, that most of the mentalists use the double reality. If everybody see the paper, it's a problem, because you ask a special question. They say, "You see here the color," and the people say yes, and the people is reading another thing, but for him it's okay the question, but for the other people it means another thing. It's a double
Yeah.
reality that most of the mentally use now. And in card magic, it's not like this, because it's a tree of diamond, and the people say
Right.
yeah, and the others say,
Right.
yeah, it's okay, it's a tree of diamond, why not? I can see it, but if everybody in the first row react, it have to be.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you know. And I love that. I love it's exactly. It works the same way in mentalism. And I was thinking when you started saying about double reality, that mentalists use that. Also in mentalism, it's very funny now. It's like we're talking about how you couldn't see a card, but now it's very popular to say, like, hold a dice in your hand. What number was on that side of the dice, right?
Yeah,
So it's very funny because it gets even smaller than cards. So that's very interesting that I
yeah,
forgot about that. I want to talk to you very specifically about some card magic that you do on stage. So in two different tricks that you do, in both the trick with the date book and the trick with the card in the
yeah,
egg, both of them, a
yeah.
card ends up predicted, or a card ends up somewhere, and you go through dealing out the 51 remaining cards to show that it's not there, and then show that it is, whether in the egg or in the envelope or whatever. And it's an interesting choice to me, and obviously it works because people react. But it's interesting because I know if I was telling my friends here in Toronto, if I were to say, I'm going to do this trick, a card is going to vanish, I'm going to count through every single card on the stage, and then I'm going to show that it's over here in the envelope, they would say to me, "You're crazy. Why would you count through the middle of the thing? That's so boring, that's so long, it's so." But I know that you go through it, you build tension, and I know also when I watch Tamariz do magic, he takes like 40 minutes to make a card go from the middle to the top, and people go crazy. So what is it about, drawing out these moments that maybe I can, learn from, or maybe like how can I do that sort of thing here? What am I missing?
Okay, the first thing to think about is, you saw my lecture, but I never do these two tricks in the same routine. This is the first to keep in mind, no? This is a lecture. I show different tricks, but I didn't show my routine. I show tricks. Yeah. The second is, when you make this kind of procedure to, for example, to count in the deck, you have to have interest in the way, for example, in the datebook trick, for the people, this build up the effect in his mind. For example, no, the people is thinking, when you began to count cards, 1, 2, 3, 4, the people think the card is not there because the card is in the envelope. But in this trick is very important, because they can think that you have more than one card in. They can think that, okay, maybe he have more than one card, but because in the deck of cards there is only one card missing, the people don't know that you put three more repeated card in the deck. The people don't think that. The people think, okay, there is only one card missing, and then there is only one card in the prediction. This is important for the effect. And the other important thing is the rhythm. You have to point the rhythm in this trick. When you ask the spectator to count down the cards, I point with the finger the rhythm to count, to make it faster. And if I think that he's very nervous or whatever, I help him to count over him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in this ring. And then it's not so long. You have to see me performing this, and you're going to think, oh no, it's okay. It's okay. At the beginning, I thought, okay, it could be a little long, but it's very important for the effects. I didn't put this because I like it. I put this because I think it's very important to put in the spectator's mind that there is only one possibility of the prediction. Okay, another thing to keep in mind is in which place of your jaw you're going to put this kind of effects. I put this normally 3 or 4 from the beginning, because at the beginning I make a very quick, fast trick in which the people immediately see magic. In the second, I used to do a trick with participation, but not on stage. I asked some people sitting down in the audience to help me, but only in his place. And then I put this trick. Then I can, and in this trick, I bring up people on stage. I put some jokes with him, and then this is the good point to do this. If you put this close to the end, it's not good. It's not good because it is a trick that takes you time, not too much, but time, and then the people relax a little. It's very good. For me, it's a transition trick, but it's very strong. It's very strong. In other way, in the egg trick, I don't make the people to count down the cards. I asked him to look for the card, and he normally threw the cards on the table or spread the deck or whatever. Maybe in the lecture or something happened or whatever. But normally, the people have the deck of cards and then look for the card. Is the true card? Is the true card? No. It's not the true card. It's not the true card. Not the true card. The people move the cards looking for the true card. No, the people don't count the card. Only look for the missing card.
And again, it sounds like a big part of that is the rhythm, right? Like, is it there? Is it there? Is it there? Do you see it? No. Okay, amazing. Well, then look inside. You know what I mean? Like, the rhythm plays a big part, it sounds like.
It's a rhythm. One of the best Juan Tamariz tricks is the total coincidence. You know the trick?
Yeah.
I love that trick. And the most important part of the trick is the rhythm, because it's a long trick. At the beginning, you have to shuffle several times to explain everything, to separate colors from 2 decks of cards. You know, there is longer than to count 52 cards, because you separate 2 decks of cards completely and shuffle again, and nothing happened. And then the magic begins. But in the first part, you have to turn over card by card until you reach the selected one, and it can take you a minute. And the trick is great, and the people cry, and the people shut up. Yes, and this is the good sample to understand that it doesn't matter these kind of things if you have in mind that you have to put rhythm on this. Don't leave the audience lose attention. You have to say interesting thing. You have to call their attention all the time in these weak points, and it's all you have to do.
Yeah, that's great. That's very helpful, and I think both rhythm and I think you explained in both of the times that when they're going through the cards, it's important to the effect, right? It's not just. To go through it to build some sort of tension or something, that it is part of the effect, and then the rest is the rhythm of how you're working with the trick now that you have reformed it.
I can give you another example. If you remember, when I'm finished, my end trick is the card fountain. No, after the rising card, I put all the cards inside a glass, and all the cards fly away to the floor. And then there is only one card. For example, if I say now, okay, and if you look on the floor, there is not your card. This is stupid. It's not important. It's stupid. The effect is another. The effect is that the car flies. I remove the signed car from this trick because I thought, why to do this with a signed car? For the people, the effect is that the cars fly away from a single empty crystal glass. Sometimes we lose the horizon, no? We think about the trick and the effect, and we have to want to put a lot of things around, and then we realize, okay, what a stupid I am. What, why I put this? This is not important. And then sometimes happen at the beginning, and then you begin to remove this kind of thing from the tricks. When you begin to do a effect, maybe you make some mistakes, and then you began to work on how to take out these weak points. But if you see me performing the daybook trick, there was a trick from an old magician from England, Ted Danson, the IA book trick. If you see me performing this, it's great. Most of the magicians that see my lecture tell me that is the first trick he put in his shows. Then it works, I think. Or they are stupid, or it works.
So one of the big things that you keep returning to, which is something that, is a very popular thing I know for Tamariz to say, and I think that it helps with so much of the clarity of your effects and your thinking in magic, is this question of like, what is the effect? Right? Is just seeking the clarity on what is the effect and trying to only add things that help make that clearer and more obvious and more easily experienced, and taking out the things that detract from that. And I think so much of what you said, like the Carlisle principle and talking about clarity in selecting of the effect, and as well as like why you would count out the cards one time and not another one, I think so much of it has to do with thinking about what exactly is the effect. What can magicians do to help get really clear on that, and to help design their shows or pick magic based on the effects, and to not get that all confused and scrambled?
Not only that, but if you think about which is the effect, you can decide which effect do you want. For example, you can put a card in an envelope and take a deck of cards and ask any people to name any card, and then the card is in the envelope. This is a prediction. But if you say, I have here an empty envelope, and do the same trick, it's a trouble. You can change the kind of effect that the people see with the same methods. Then, if you have in your mind very clear which effect you want to do, you can make change. I think it's very important to think in the effect and which is better than the other. Sometimes a prediction is better, sometimes a trouble, sometimes a coincidence. It depends,
Right.
but you have to think about it.
Is there a reason why you would pick one over another, or it's just choice? Like, one of the things I'm always thinking about is, for me, I see these options in front of me. Like, I see a trick and I say, okay, this could be a prediction, this could be mind reading, and I don't have a reason to pick one over another, right? The only thing I have is trying them out and seeing which one feels best. Is there another tool that you use to help you pick how to present a certain effect, or you try it out and you brainstorm what fit?
Okay, this is very difficult to discuss because it's a kind of a choice for everybody or everyone. But for me, sometimes I select the effect because I want this effect to be different to the others. For example, if I'm in my routine, I have an effect that is traveling an object. When I select another effect like a card trick, I don't make it as a travel because I have another travel in my routine, It's the same. For example, if I make the card in the egg trick, I can make, for example, the card in the wallet. For me, it's the same. It's another prop, but it's the same. And then I change. But sometimes you can change because in some effects, you can do this. But with another, you can make this. You can make, for example, you don't guess the card. You give the power to a people, to one person, and this person guess the card. It's another emotion. It's him. I'm going to touch your forehead, and now you are going to name the card, and the card is going to be the selected one. Oh, great! It's another effect, and I decide. It depends. Sometimes because I'm looking for that kind of effect, the mental lens is very strong for the people, and then the predictions are so strong. But you can do all the show doing predictions, and then you select one, the best one you can use, and then another with the coincidence, another with mind reading. I try to put variety in the motions of the shows, and there is not a rule. It's only to think about. I once I saw a magician doing 6 tricks all the same, all with the nail writer, all predictions of number, names, 6 times the same trick. The first one, it's okay. The second, oh, great. The third, oh, well. The four, nothing. The five, nothing. And the six, nothing.
They get bored. Yeah. They know what's coming.
It's all the same. Yes, 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 yes.
I wanted to talk to you about adding emotion to your magic. I think that so much of the time, great magicians for us are ones that capture us as an audience, right? And they capture our emotion. And I think that they do that by giving it their emotion. And I'm just trying to understand, what tools can we use or what do we do to make our magic more impactful, how to really get the audience on the edge of their seat. How can we do that?
Oh, you have to read the Rainbow Book from Juan Tamariz. He
Mhm.
explains all about emotions there. But the variety of the emotions you put in the show is very important. One time is surprise, other time is, oh, what a pity, he had a mistake, amazement. There are hundreds of emotions you can add inside a show. Happiness, okay, well, you can put all the emotions you want. Then if you can study the emotions and you can think about which kind of emotion do you have in every single trick you perform, you can take the audience in your hand, eh? And you can decide. For example, I remember in Alabama, my friend, he put a lot of emotion in his presentation, and the people almost cry at the end because he wants to do this. For me, no. I prefer the people. The last emotion was a surprise and amazement, and then happiness. No, for example, and then you decide how to lead the audience in this way of emotions during your presentation. It's easy to say, but it's not easy to do. This is practice. You need to practice to perform and perform and perform. And sometimes it works because you are a full-time performer for 20 years, and then somebody asks you how to do this, and you say, I don't know. I have been making this for 20 years. No, because if you are a good professional, you learn from every single presentation, and you can make change your presentation because you feel that. Sometimes it's a feeling. You feel the people. In this trick, I lose the audience. The people maybe don't think emotion is this is a stupid effect or whatever, and you change. Okay, if I put this, if I say you want to know your luck in the next year, and everybody, yes, yes, this is a very good emotion. You're giving the people that the people want to know their luck. Okay, and you make a trick with a prediction or whatever. If you name a card and the card is inside this envelope, you're going to have a great luck all this year. And okay, yes, you put a little emotion in a regular trick, a prediction trick. No, sometimes the presentations help you to change the emotions you want to show to the
Right.
audience.
And I think in the same way that you were saying about the variety in tricks is like you said, the variety in emotions. And I think like a good
Yeah,
movie.
sure, sure.
You don't just feel the same thing over and over again, but first you feel love, and then you're scared, and then it's intense, and then it's amazing, and then it's danger again, and so on. Even a good action movie isn't action the whole time. First you have to like the characters, and
Yeah,
so on. So I love that.
yeah, sure. You have changed emotion different. Not all suspense. You can keep all suspense all the time. And in magic, this is the important is the effects are emotions. When you think about the effects, you're thinking about emotions. And as a magician, you think, oh, this is a trick in which three cards fly together into a pocket. Well, okay, this is a trick. This is the the very bones, no, only of the effect. But what can the people think about this? Oh, I can't believe this because I have the card in my hands. You know, it's like a losing. The card disappeared from my hand. This is an emotion.
Oh, it's interesting. I love that.
This
Affects our
emotion is
emotions.
yes, emotions.
Wow. And it's true because when I think about
Maybe not really the effect our emotions, but the effects
yeah.
create
Mhm.
emotions. Yeah.
That I really love because even when I think about effects, I'm thinking about the emotion that specific effect, whether they're very tense or whether they're screaming and reacting, or whether that's what I think of when I visualize or when I think about an effect. The next question that I wanted to ask is almost a point of clarity, and I asked a very similar question to Emmanuel very recently, and the question is like this: in North America, there's confusion about what it means when somebody says the Spanish school of magic. Some people think that means, magic that is directly from Ascanio, maybe down the scales, or maybe magic that is related somehow to Juan Tamariz, or some people just think maybe it's magic that comes from somewhere, anywhere near Spain, and people in North America are often trying to do magic that is more of the Spanish style. So what does that mean? When somebody says the Spanish school of magic or the Spanish style, what does that mean? And if somebody wanted to be like that or wanted to perform magic in that way, what would that mean?
Oh, it's a mix of things. It's a mix of from the Ascanio thinkings because Ascanio was a thinker, and Tamariz philosophy and ideas and tricks, and this is mixed, and all the people that work together in the Escorial, but mostly the Spanish school, it's about card magic. Mostly it's about card magic. Mm, Clear methods, the strong effects, the way to do this kind of tricks. Most of them came from Juan Tamariz because Juan Tamariz is a very strong influence all over the world, mostly in Spain, because we grow up with him. Yeah, and the new Spanish magicians like uh, Budi Aragon, Danny Ortiz, Juan Luis Rubiales, all these magicians began with Juan Tamariz. And all these magicians have a very strong influence from Juan Tamariz. I think the Spanish school is altogether, because Ascanio was very important in this, and all the Escorial works, but mostly Juan Tamariz. He pushed the magic to another level, to another level. He began to think about these details we discussed before, the emotions, the symbolism, the kind of effects, the presentations, the structure. A lot of professional magicians did this because they were intuitives, like me, because I when I read the 5 points in magic from Juan Tamariz, I realized that I I did some of these points by myself because I was a little intuitive, but a lot of professional did this intuitive. He put this in a book, but for others it's intuitive. But he put all the things together and helped the others to do the magic in a better way. The Spanish school means all the magicians working together to improve magic. not the secrets. No, keep secrets. No, no, no. We are going to make a meeting every year to discuss about subjects, books, persons, and to improve this kind of machine and to give this to the other magicians. I think this is the main thing in the Spanish school.
I love it. And I think one of the things that really shines through in that answer is that it is a joint effort for the good of magic, you know? And maybe I don't always feel that in all
Yes,
types of magic being sold or released or whatever, that it feels like it's a combined effort for the good of all magic. That doesn't maybe feel like it's always going on. And I think that's a really great way to understand what is going on in when people say the Spanish school of magic. And maybe if somebody says that they want to think that way or they want to work that way or things of that nature, what that means is studying from these greats and also maybe hoping to learn and share what you're learning with people, you know, and share with magicians and try to become better collectively.
yes. And also the Spanish school have a very great magician with great skill in card magic, soft, clean, great. But this is only a detail inside the big picture. The big picture for me of the Spanish school is this work together to improve the magic together, and sharing this to other magicians all over the world. You know, to the Escorial always came people from all over the world: Japan, Korea, China, United States, Canada, is all over the world. And then we share with them, and the idea is that the people that come to Escorial share this with the others at their countries.
Hmm.
It's not a
And
secret.
it's spread
No,
like
no, no,
spread
no.
the word. It's
We
like
work in the
it's like a
Escorial.
UN meeting. Yeah.
Yes, 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 yes. It's to improve, not to, oh, look at me, and I developed this idea, it's great, but it's only for me. Don't show this to nobody. No, no, this is stupid. This is stupid. It's okay if you develop an idea and you keep this for you for 1, 2, 3 years to enjoy with other
Mhm.
magicians. But then I think you have to share this
I
with the
agree. I
audience.
think we're all working at the same thing, and I think it better for us to all share our knowledge. The next question I wanted to ask is about just performing magic on stage and performing card magic. I know we spoke about some of the technical challenges of both making it visible as well as making it unique from each other. But I think that in close up, when we're doing card magic, it's much easier for us to connect and to get emotional and impactful. Maybe the ability to make eye contact, maybe it's the ability to do things in other people's hands, maybe it's I don't know what it is, but I know that on stage it becomes a little bit more challenging. So do you have any advice or recommendations on making card magic on stage more powerful, making it stronger once you've picked the effect?
Again and again, Juan Tamariz method, because when he began to do TV shows, he realized that the people at home only see the magician performing. The people can't see the other people reaction on TV. And then he was the first one that put all the people around him on the table, beside him and behind to him, all around him, in order that the people at home can see at the same time the magician and the audience, and then can share this audience can share the reaction with the people at home. This was very important in the perception of the magic for the audience at home. Then he transferred all this to a real close-up act. When he performed close-up in regular conditions, he put a big table, a round table, and about 20 people around, and a second row is 25, and all around him, behind him, all full of people around him, and it works perfect. And then when he performed on stage with the method I already explained you, he put two people beside him, not only to help him with the tricks, because the audience people sitting down at the theater can see these two people's face. and then they can see the reactions, the laughing, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes he put more people. He put 2 sit down and 3 or 4 stand up behind him for another kind of trick in the same conditions. And this is very important because in this way, the feeling the people normally have in a regular close-up session, is stronger because the people say, "Oh, I'm here," and it's about 10 centimeters from you, and it's incredible. I put my finger on the car, and the car shot away. Okay, whatever. And with this kind of setup, you can make it happen. It's not the same because a close-up session is a close-up session, and it's impossible to do this on stage, but it works.
It's good. It's good that the solution is again in the emotions of bringing up the spectators, right? Is bringing them up and getting their reaction to be the thing the audience sees as well as the trick itself. And that way the audience has something to look at and, understand how to react and how to respond and what's going on, in the same way that in close up it's like a group experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're nearing the end of the podcast, and we have a bunch of wrap-up questions. The first wrap-up question is like this: in order to keep the podcast going on for eternity, each guest is asked to recommend another guest who they think absolutely has to be on the podcast. So, who is somebody who you think we absolutely must have on the podcast?
Juan Tamariz.
Well, thank you. And if you can help me,
you want more? I can give you.
Well,
some
that one
more.
is amazing, and if you can help me make that happen, then that would be a dream of mine. But yes, give me more as well, because I'd love to know other people who thinks ideas I should share.
Juan Luis Rubiales from Spain. Here in Argentina, Pablo Sanata.
Perfect.
Yeah. In Spain, there is another great thinker. Budi Aragon.
Perfect. Those are all amazing recommendations.
Of course, Dani. Of course, Dani da Ortiz.
Also incredible. Those are all amazing recommendations, and I will follow.
Yeah, Roberto Giovi.
Yeah, I will follow up with you to get in contact with. The next question in the wrap-up questions is about modern magic and current magic. So what is something that's going on in magic currently that you like, and something that's going on in magic right now that you don't like?
Oh, I don't like the TV magic, the new TV magic, these big productions that use a lot of methods that you can do in a regular show. You know what I mean? I don't like that because the people think it happened a long time ago. Then I remember when Doug Henning begins to do the TV show at the beginning, always say, all you're going to see on TV is the same that the people here are seeing, because it happens. You make tricks, incredible tricks, but you can't make these tricks in a regular show. I don't like that. I don't like the excess of technology into magic. I don't like that. Because I think it's that the people think, no? Because now the technology is so high, and the people think that you're using a remote control, I'm using a magnet, and you can use this, but you have to hide in a clever way, no? But now it's incredible. In mentalism, it's very difficult because they are pre-show. I don't like pre-show. I don't like. I think it's like to use a stooge. This is, I think, the new magic really is not better than the old one.
Right.
I'm meaning about effects and methods.
What is something about current magic or new magic right now that you do like, or what's going on in the world of magic now that you like?
I think in manipulation, it changed a lot. I remember I performed with Yu Ho-jin from Korea, and his routine is great. He changed a lot of things because until now, until this moment, the card manipulation, for example, was a kind of juggling, including the audience think, okay, what a skill, but this kind of juggling. He's hiding the cards behind the hand, and the people know that. But now with the new methods, I told you Yokoshima, but if you think about Hector Mancha from Spain, new methods to approach the card manipulation, I think it's an improvement. I love that. I love.
That's great, and that's an answer that I don't think I've ever gotten on the podcast. So I love that answer. That's incredible. The next section is called a take-home point. So you and I have been talking now for over an hour, and people listen to this podcast doing loads of things. Maybe they're driving, maybe they're washing the dishes, and I want each of us, you and I, to both mention one thing from the episode that is maybe the most important that people can take home and maybe remember this episode as. So for me, one of the highlights is I loved you talking about variety of the tricks themselves and variety of emotions in your show. I think that a magic show is like a concert of emotions. And I think that, like you said, so many magicians just keep hitting the same note over and over and over again. And I think variety plays such a huge role. It allows us to do more card magic if that's what we want to do. But also the point to make a variety of emotions and try to think about what each affects emotion is and how to make those different and add different emotional moments, I think is very helpful in making a show as a whole an incredible experience. So that's speaking about variety and variety of emotions was a very big highlight for me. What do you think was a very big highlight for you, or rather something for people at home that you think is maybe the most important?
No, I think I agree with you. This is very important. But I think also the musician don't to be afraid to do card magic on stage or close up on stage. They only have to think which is the best way to do this, but not to be afraid. It's great. The people enjoy a lot. You don't need to put big illusions on stage because you are performing in a big theater. I the best shows I always remember wasn't Big Illusions. I don't know why. I love Big Illusions, but for me, if I have to decide which show to see, I prefer another kind of shows.
It's interesting that big illusions aren't something that capture like that are super memorable for me either, interestingly enough, even though it seems like I'm always trying to find things that play bigger and bigger or are bigger and bigger in size. But a lot of what you're saying really resonates with me, that maybe that's not necessarily the way to do it. It's to try to allow them to see the emotion. So I really like that's really valuable. And the very last question is like this: is plugs. So is there anything that people should find, anywhere people can go to buy any of your magic? I know I can recommend going to Penguin Magic and getting the Penguin Live lecture. It was incredible. It's great stand-up card magic and a lot of incredible thinking in that. But is there anywhere else that people should go to either find you or find some of your magic?
I can give you my email if you want. But if you want to see me performing, I'm going to be performing at the castle. I perform at the castle from a long time ago. I perform almost every year. And I'm going to be performing next June from 24 to 30.
Amazing. So now not only do people know where to go to learn some of your magic, but they can also go and watch you perform at the castle, which is absolutely incredible. And with that, we are wrapped up. Alan, thank you so much for the incredible interview. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed myself, and of course, a big thank you to the audience for staying with us and listening in and learning quite a bit about magic and bringing card magic to the stage. Well, there you go. I hope that you liked the episode and I hope that you learned something. Take a moment and think about the magic that you do. Do you have variety in the magic itself? Do you have variety in the emotions? What limiting beliefs about performing card magic on stage did you used to have and maybe you don't have now? I hope that you liked the episode and I will see you next Thursday. Peace.